I'm Shane.
And I'm Bo.
We are your Kentucky Fried Critics.
Welcome back, everybody.
We got another one ready for you. Episode 31. No longer in the nice even round numbers.
I know. Next week, I get to be happy again. I'll have another even number. It's a constant flip-flop.
All right. We've been having pretty good success with this rushing through the
Socials and everything.
So I think we'll just keep sticking to
doing
this
it.
whole idea of just trying to get through it as quick as we can. So again, the meta, that's going to be the three, not big ones yet, because Thread still is kind of floating there. But, Instagram and Facebook are certainly two of the big ones. All of those are going to be Kentucky Fried Critics, no spacing, nice, clean, easy, simple, whether it's a slash or an at. It all depends on the website. You'll figure it out. The next one, though, that's going to be the one that's a little bit different. We've embraced the difference.
Yep.
That's going to be a YouTube. YouTube, you're going to find us at youtube.com/@KFC
It's my favorite now.
Now we're just waiting for you guys to help us come up with what a Riddick is. As soon as we can get that, we can try to have two mascots going here.
So, are we going to go with, cute or, want badass?
Well, I don't know. It depends on the kind of lore we want to go with having two mascots, right? Are they two mascots that are friendly with each other? Are they two mascots that duke it out?
I think the Colonel would ride the Riddick.
Okay, we'll see.
Right? That's like his steed into battle.
Then, if anything, we're already telling people...
There we go. We're helping. We started it. You guys take the rest of it.
They might even be able to take the Colonel and put him on... Again...
Yeah, dude, that'd be badass.
Have him ride the Riddick. Just, again, remember when you make the Colonel, you have to give him the 3D glasses.
3D glasses is key.
That's the must. That was the vision. That's part of what we wanted from the beginning was the 3D glasses. After we leave YouTube, the next one that we'll do is the website. Again, it's a place that if you want to listen to it, you can listen to it there. If you want to find where else that we're listed, it's there. If you want to find all the other socials that I've already mentioned, they're linked there.
It's the hub.
It's where you can find all of the stuff. That's going to be shows.acast.com/KentuckyFried-Critics.
I didn't interrupt. I didn't do nothing.
I mean, you're doing your dance, but you didn't interrupt.
I did it quietly.
You did not interrupt. I will give you points for not interrupting.
Yay.
That is 100%.
Point for me. Bing.
Then, of course, that leaves us the last one to wrap up with. That's the OG, the original. That's going to be, like we said, kind of treat it like it's a
suggestion box.
Like, you could suggest things at other places, but, that's going to be the big one. That's where we've already gotten some people email us random things.
Yeah, some people have ideas.
So it's a place that we can keep that going. So that's...
Please do.
Yeah, KentuckyFriedCritics@gmail.com.
Nice and easy. Simple. Everyone in the world has a Gmail account. Even your wee great-grandmother, she's got one, tottering away in her cottage.
Last week was certainly a short episode.
Yeah.
I anticipate this week is probably going to be another short episode.
Yes.
Sometimes it's nice for us to have laid back, easy...
Nice, easy ones to breeze our way through. And
They don't all need to be like an hour and 45 minutes. Sometimes it's nice to have something...
Sometimes you ain't got that long to listen to shit.
Sometimes it's fun and jovial, and sometimes you're just doing something that's maybe a little bit more child-centric. Like this one.
Like this one? I went the different direction.
Yeah, you were going the opposite way.
I was like, dark and evil.
No. Sometimes you do something like this.
Oh, yeah. Happy kid movie. Yay.
I would say our average is probably the other way.
Yeah, probably.
So we would say sometimes you do this.
We had Christmas. Those were happy movies.
I guess that...
Except maybe Scrooged.
Sometimes.
That's the caveat there.
Okay. Let's start with what are we drinking?
We are drinking Avery Brewing Company's Little Rascal Belgian-style white ale.
As we already mentioned in the post for the clue.
This one was a layup.
I'd like to think so.
Right, this one was easy.
Even if you were trying to think out of the box, it just seems like sometimes people, if you were maybe you're making it too hard on yourself.
Yeah, you were overthinking it. Sometimes we're just like, that's too easy to pass up.
Sometimes when we're walking down the aisle at the liquor store, it's just like, well...
I mean, that's kind of obvious, right?
It's just jumping out at us.
And it had the nice yellow, lemon on the can and shit.
Yeah, so again, this is a session-style Belgian white ale with Meyer lemon extract. So, it is definitely citrusy.
Yeah. Got, what's that beer you mix with lemonade called? A shandy?
Shandy. It's got shandy vibes without being a shandy. Yeah, there's no lemonade here.
The shandy done right.
I think that's all we need to say about that right now, because we said all of our segue into the movie without actually saying it. Because, again, it does seem like a pretty good layup.
Here it is.
So this is Little Rascals.
Yay.
Or excuse me, the Little Rascals. Got to make sure
you got to You got to get that trademark little TM stamp.
Well, it also just might be that Little Rascals without the could be one of the original Our Gang shorts, and so you just got to be careful. Like you could be literally referencing a different
group of young
people doing the same
boys
characters.
doing the same shit.
So you just have to be careful with it. As I already just mentioned, this is a modern adaptation of Our Gang. Everybody always forgets the technical name of the group, Our Gang.
I did not know that. I just was like a comic short back in like the 30s originally, wasn't it?
So no, it's always been a movie, like actual live action kids.
Oh, did not know that.
Yeah, there were actors. They all have dark fates.
Oh.
Speaking of dark movies, there's like a Our Gang / Little Rascals curse, supposedly, if you go look it up. We won't talk about it here. This is a kid's movie. We're going to try to keep this light.
No, I don't want to go.
This was a suggestion for you after the fact.
It's supposed to be happy fun time.
Well, it is. None of these kids got burst.
Oh, good. All right,
yeah,
now I feel better.
This was a curse on the original.
The old ones.
The ones that are grandparents and great-grandparents, depending on who in the audience is listening, watched. You know, like this is
Black
way
and
back.
white,
Yeah,
way back.
Like you said, this is the 30s and 40s. It just was not a cartoon. It was a live action. I don't know if we really need to mention anything else about the old one, because again, this was a movie that came out in 1994 to a generation, not only a generation that didn't know this, it's a generation that was separated by a generation.
Yeah, there's like a whole big gap there.
Like our parents weren't even the generation that grew up watching
like
this.
Vaguely be like, oh yeah, I remember Alfalfa.
Well, they saw it, but they weren't the generation it was made for.
Right.
Like, I mean, it was made for their parents as children.
Yeah, and then their mom and dad might have been like, hey, here's something I watched when I was... Well, could they have even done that?
No, no, it's that at the time, the Little Rascals shorts got turned into the kind of thing that would open other movies.
Ah, yeah, there you go.
Like, you know how, like, nowadays we just have standard, usually you're just watching trailers. But back in the day...
shorts and shit.
Yeah, you know, the Dancing Candy.
Didn't like Rocket Man used to be that? It'd be like a 5-minute serial.
The Rocketeer.
Yeah, the Rocketeer.
Yeah, different things like that. And so that's exactly what happened here. Is the next generation knew about it because they found a way to recycle the usage of it.
Nice. Should look those up. Bet they're funny.
Again, this came out for a generation of us that had
no idea.
Contextual clue to it. Literally, our introduction was this. It was not like our introduction wasn't like our parents showing it to us, because again, it wasn't something that fond to them. It was something that in passing they were like, yeah, I seen that. Oh,
yeah. But we all fucking went and saw it.
Yeah,
that
of course.
Summer. Like, I think we all went as a group, didn't we? All the cousins.
Certainly we did.
Yeah, I love this movie.
It's good. It's funny. I mean,
I haven't seen it in like 20 years. I forgot how good it was.
I still enjoyed it. I was going to say, like, despite the fact that it's definitely made for children, I enjoyed it. Well, again, it's only slightly, I mean, it is.
There's a couple jokes.
It's just slapstick comedy, though, right? Like, that's for all ages. Slapstick comedy knows no bounds.
They do the, like, Benny Hill speed up.
Well, and they do
the running and shit.
The water hose gag, like that.
Yeah,
that's timeless. You know what I mean? Like
Alfalfa is kind of dressed like Charlie Chaplin for most of the movie.
Well, the whole movie definitely gives off vibes from the original concept. Like it's not 94 in this town. This town is essentially still in like 1930s, 40s type lifestyle, because it's like a city, but they want us to think there's a town life going on.
This small little suburb stayed in like 1940s,
even though it's like somehow in the middle of the city because they all walk to the city, but they're also on the outskirts of the city because again their shack is definitely on the outskirt of the
yeah.
It makes no sense, this town, how it might have actually existed.
The director did not want anybody to pinpoint what time it is.
No, because we see certain things. The payphone.
Oh yeah, the payphone's pretty modern. So are the cars in the parking lot.
So they weren't trying to do that. They just also didn't
point it out.
They didn't try to update a lot of stuff either. You know what I mean? Like
no, you're still gonna wear like the 40s-ish style clothes and shit.
Definitely they did. The clothes were very strange on all of the kids.
Right.
The hideout itself looked like it was straight out of, again, like this was right after the stock market crashed.
Right. It's from one of those like shanty villages out in Central Park. It does, because it's got like the wrecked tin roof pieces just haphazardly nailed everywhere.
The movie definitely gives a weird vibe. The key demographic were children, and as a child, I didn't realize.
Didn't read that much into it.
I didn't even notice that these kids were all in dull, drab colored clothing.
Basically rags, half of them.
Never even pieced it together. So it is definitely the kind of thing that us as adults are noticing as we go back 30 years. It came out in 94. 30 years later.
Shut up.
Had to be said. But yeah, so it was. It's definitely one of those things that you're going to notice now as an adult.
Oh, yeah.
You wouldn't have noticed as a kid. If you put your kid in front of it, they're not going to notice.
No, because they're just like, a bunch of kids. They got this cool, like, clubhouse, and they're going to race go-karts, and it's awesome. Yeah. And who doesn't want, like, a huge group of, like, just your boys, right?
You know, we usually go over who's in the movie. None of these little kids. I'm not even going to bother. You guys at me all you want.
Yeah, but they didn't do anything else, apparently.
Literally, if you look at IMDb, it's a sea of pictures from when this movie came out.
None of these kids liked doing this, apparently.
I'm not sure. Maybe they weren't actors. You know, like sometimes when they go for kids in
there's
movies,
clearly a few of them that are definitely not actors.
So they specifically go for kids that aren't.
The kid who plays Waldo, Alfalfa, Spanky. That's it. The rest of them are not actors, I bet.
Yeah. The kid that played Waldo definitely is, though. He was in Full House.
Yeah.
And some other
stuff. Is that where
stuff.
I've seen him before?
Yeah, he was one of Michelle's friends.
That's where
in grade school. Again, he was the one, he sang Yankee Doodle Dandy. You know, the one he wore, again, just like how this kid did. He wore the full regalia when he did the song.
He's that guy. There we go.
But the movie has a lot of that. But again, they're super famous that guys,
yeah,
right?
That's fair.
Like I said, the kids aren't famous. None of these kids really went on to do anything. The adults, there are cameos by big name people throughout this whole movie. We'll name drop them now. We'll name drop them again when we get see to them.
Yeah.
But just so that way we can hit some people. I've got a list here. We've got Reba McEntire.
Woot.
Daryl Hannah.
I know, right?
As the teacher, just randomly.
Just out of nowhere.
Most of the adults pop in for half a second.
In for half a second.
We do have kids. The Olsen twins.
Yeah, the Olsen twins.
Out of nowhere.
Raven Simone.
Yes.
At the very end. Yeah. She's one of the kids in the...
Very random. Right. For not being in the whole movie, especially the Raven.
Right.
The Olsen twins at least had two scenes.
Yeah, they're at the
sleepover party and
the end.
Raven, though?
Raven's just random, popped up.
Back to adults, though, we've got people like Leah Thompson, Back to the Future
Back to the Future, yeah.
Whoopi Goldberg in the shortest cameo, I think, of all of them.
She literally just waves and says, "Won by a hair."
Yeah.
It's her whole thing. That's it. The rest of it's gone.
We got Mel Brooks as the banker.
He was my favorite one.
Donald Trump, but 90s
when he was still cool.
Yeah, we're not gonna talk. We don't care. We are not political.
Actor.
Yeah, we're talking about actor, and we're talking about his pop culture relevance.
Yeah, this is when he like showed up at WrestleMania every year and just kind of hung out with the wrestlers.
Well, and he was in Home Alone 2.
Yeah, just trying to being an actor and shit.
So I mean, this was an
he was
era.
in a lot of stuff in the 90s.
This was an era where he had a very different vibe. Well, we're not gonna try to talk about politics here. We were just talking about who he was in the 90s, and in the 90s, he still was kind of a cool guy.
Yep,
he really wasn't. But you know, like the vibe.
He gave the impression that he was a cool dude.
There wasn't a lot of media coverage going on saying otherwise.
We didn't really have the internet, tearing away at people.
So the fact that he had a lot of money meant he could pay to keep most of us from knowing things.
Yep.
I'm not saying good or bad because it definitely happens on all sides.
I'll just say they all do it.
Yeah, it's just a lot harder to do now.
Mm-hmm.
There's bound to be some other people. I can't
the
think
guy
of,
at the lumber mill,
George Wendt.
Norm
from Cheers. This is a random one. I don't know the actor's name, and I'm gonna feel bad. The guy who played Spanky's dad. Yeah, you see him for like half a second from a distance over the shoulder. Right. That is the bully from Problem Child 2 and 3. Murph, you know what I'm talking about? Have you ever seen Problem Child? He gets taped to the wall. He's he's in 2. He's the bully at the school. Remember, his dad starts at the school and he gets skipped a grade. And Murph also got held back several grades.
Yeah,
Murph was a full-grown adult. Yes, this guy, Spanky's dad, was Murph.
Was him. Looking good in that beanie, buddy.
Again, if there's anybody else, I'm sure we'll probably hit it when we're going through. But that sounds.
I think that sounds
everybody. Like because again, there were a whole bunch of cameos, but there's only so much movie.
Yeah, right.
We've not said
not
it. This
a lot of movie either.
It's a very short run time on this movie. Yeah, 82 minutes.
82 minutes.
So it's an hour and 22. Some of that's credits.
At least like 5 minutes of that is credits. So it's hour and 17 minutes.
Yeah,
it's super short.
Let's not waste any more time. Let's get into it.
We've padded the runtime of the episode out enough.
As much as possible.
As much as we can.
Everyone knows And if you don't know, now you will. I love to start just by talking about whatever kind of music we get to start, if we actually get to start with it. This one definitely starts with one, and a little bit more history for you. If you don't know, the song this one opens with is the original theme song for our gang.
From the shorts?
Yeah.
That's cool. Because my subtitles said Little Rascals theme, and I was like...
Well, and again, this is,
I was like, did they just like come up with that for the movie?
No, it's for, it's for the original shorts. And it is a great piece of music. It's very whimsical. It gives you that childlike...
Very 40s.
It gives you that childlike wonder going on. You definitely feel the vibe of like, I'm a kid going on an adventure. Let's start this thing.
Right.
And then we immediately see Spanky.
Spanky. He's writing a little note. He's got Petey next to him. The dog with the big
You can't say it without talking about it. Yeah, exactly.
I don't know what that's about.
It's original from the
just to
back
distinguish
in the day.
Their dog from everything else, I guess. That's Petey. He's got the big circle on his eye.
That's right.
He's a good dog.
He is.
Because he clips the little note onto his collar.
Says, go tell everybody.
Go tell everybody, Petey, and off he runs.
And we see Petey on an adventure.
Yeah, he just runs and gathers up all the boys.
Running around town, having a great time.
Yep, he goes and gets Froggy.
Well, the first one he gets is STYMIE.
Oh, yeah, STYMIE.
The guy with the hat.
It took me forever to figure out that kid's name because I kept missing it, and they hardly ever call him.
I feel bad about it because the thing about it is, especially for this movie and this story that we get, because again, like I said, they are normally a bunch of shorts, and so there's a whole lore. We didn't know that going in. And as kids, we walked away not remembering Stymie's name. But if you pay attention in the movie,
he's very important.
He is Spanky's right-hand man. Fuck Alfalfa. We all walked away being like Alfalfa and Spanky.
No, fucking Stymie over here holding shit together,
man. The movie, it is definitely different because, again, for half of the movie, Alfalfa's on the outs.
Yep. Stymie's the one calling the meetings, being like, nah, this is what we're doing.
Poor Stymie.
He goes and like gets them back together after the fight and shit. Stymie's the most important rascal.
Got a raw deal.
He really did.
By our generation.
I did not figure out his name until the second run through, and I caught it in the credits, like when they show the pictures and stuff. I was like, that's what your damn name was.
Yeah, in the movie they only say it like twice.
Yeah, it's bullshit. I knew his name better.
It's sad, right? It's so sad. Both for this actor and the character. Like everybody involved.
Justice for Stymie.
I agree.
Hashtag it everywhere.
But as it goes on, like you said, we see everybody. We see Froggy. God bless that voice on that kid. And he looks so crazy too, right? Like the
red-headed mullet with the huge glasses and overalls.
It's like not even like a natural lay mullet, right? Like it's completely like ruler straight in the back. It's like a bowl cut, but longer, right? So
it's bowl cut on top, and then they let it grow out the back, and then they just straight cut
straight bowled it in at the bottom. Yeah. Oh, it's so straight. It's so crazy. This kid is wild looking.
They took a pair of gardening shears, just one shot at it, just the whole thing.
Then we get Porky and Buckwheat,
my favorite characters.
They also happen to be like the youngest, right? It's like them and right? I would say so. Split between those
because
three.
They get the note and stuff, and they're like, "We got a note. We should really learn how to read."
Well, and I love their gag. Again, this is what I was saying. It's all old school physical comedy,
like psych gags and shit.
Because it's the two of them fishing, and they get their hooks
together,
and they're pulling each other
in one way.
Petey shows up just in time to pull Buckwheat. He says, "Thanks, Petey."
Throws Porky in the water. Poor little kid.
I love those two, like you said.
Yeah, they're the best.
Probably, they wrote them some of the better, again, not important for the story,
but funnier bits.
Yeah. Again, they're almost always off on their own tangent.
Doing something else. They're always off doing something else.
But they get a lot of them. But once they get them all gathered up, we see their clubhouse.
Yeah, it's dope.
The He-Man Woman Haters Club.
The He-Man Woman Haters Club. Woman with a U. Woman.
Woman. And they say it that way half the time if you listen to them.
Do.
It's so funny. And as they all come running in, Froggy is the man.
He's the doorman. He's like, you got to do the little hand signal.
It's a secret. It's like instead of having a secret code word, there's a secret hand gesture to get in. How ridiculous is it that this group, I counted when they went inside and we can see the full group, 20, like counting Alfalfa who is not there. 21.
That's a lot.
It is. But is it so many you need to come up with a secret hand gesture because you can't look at the kid and be like, he's one of our group.
He's one of us. I know that kid.
Right? Is it so many you needed to check him at the door?
it was what you do.
It's fun. It's cute. It is what you do. I remember doing stuff like that. Yeah. I'm not trying to doubt, but I'm saying it is funny as an adult to look back on it, where you're like, you look at the number of kids and you're like,
there's not enough of you for this. It's like necessary.
It's like less than the number of kids in your class when you're like 8, and you're like, I can probably remember when I was 8 that I knew everybody.
Yeah, or at least their face,
right?
Whether I liked them or not.
Certainly, if this is supposed to be a group that you are you are voluntarily participating with, like school, you're forced to. These are kids you are like, oh, I want to hang out with them.
Yeah.
You're going to remember 20 kids' names.
Yeah, probably. Especially if you all got together, built this nice little clubhouse, formulated a constitution of rules for your club.
Technically, we don't know if these kids did that, because they do mention forefathers.
Oh, yeah, that's true. It might have been, like passed down from
a kid who's from
the beginning of time.
Well, they've moved on from this, like they
went to middle school.
Well, I don't know, because none of these kids.
Yeah.
It's a different age cutoff, because I would say maybe you're right, but I would say it's more like just like some arbitrary between 9 and 10 or something, right?
No,
like
fourth graders,
right? It's something weird because they're pretty young.
Yeah, some of these kids are like 3 years old.
Yeah, some of these kids are not even in school.
Then why are they just out running around the city? Where's the parents?
Well, it's a double-edged sword. Both the 30s and the 90s were different times.
They really were.
A lot of this movie is wild like that. Though, again, like we already said, it's like a city/town. They want it to be the best of both worlds, right? It's city because they want it to be big enough that they've got these different locales for them to go
shoot at.
Right.
But they want it to feel like a small town.
But again, we see city when we see a lot of stuff.
Especially
and we just
see
these
the wide shots is buildings and shit.
So we just see these kids that are ranged between 5 and like 9 walking the city by themselves.
They're all together at least.
Not all the time.
Oh, that's true.
Porky and Buckwheat are by themselves
a lot,
as we said.
And they are the youngest ones. It's super dangerous.
And they're just wandering.
They're having a great time.
Again, it was a very different time. We went off tangent.
Yeah, we did on a long one.
We need to bring it back a little bit.
We need to come back.
Yeah, so now that they're all in, they call the meeting. Like I said, 20 roughly
all
people.
20 of them.
Spanky comes in the door like a true politician.
Yeah, shaking hands. Hey, flies how you doing? Undone. Your fly's undone.
Might want to get that. Like, not in a menacing way. Like in a, let me help you.
Right? I'm just looking out for you, brother.
If there was a baby, he'd have kissed it.
He would have. He should have kissed Frogman's lizard.
Oh.
That's what he should have done.
That'd have been the touch.
Right?
That'd have been it. And he gets to the front and he's like, let us call this emergency meeting. Unscheduled meeting.
Yep.
Right? I already have a problem with this. It's an unscheduled meeting for them to vote on who's going to be
the driver for the go-kart.
Right? I know before we get to that part, they have their grievances, which cracks me up, how they all have grievances with women so young.
Yeah.
They air their grievances.
But one of them tried to move in next door and wanted to play with me.
Though they tell us, though, that they're here to vote on who's gonna be the driver, but they already have a car.
Yep, sitting right behind him.
It's days away from the race, right? The movie definitely sets us up.
Yeah, it's like
this all happens real quick. Why isn't it an emergency meeting? Shouldn't this be a scheduled meeting? Shouldn't they already have done this?
This should have been a planned meeting. Like we have the car. We need somebody to drive this bitch. We all need to get together on Wednesday around 11:30 and vote. Not, oh shit, we forgot to pick a driver. Quick, everyone. Do the Little Rascals have Nintendo, you think? They got distracted just in there playing Mario and they're like, fuck the race.
Maybe.
I mean, that's what I would have done.
Also, I want to point out, I love the language in the movie. And again, this is from the old school, like the Azugas, because we just had this. Like when they're
can I get an Azuga?
When they're talking about their car, yeah. Like,
Azuga. Hey, nice Azugas, guys.
Nice Azugas. The car, I also, while we're here talking about this, how outrageous is it that it's full go-kart racing?
Yeah, it's not like just like downhill.
It's not this isn't Pine Box.
That's how I remembered it. I remembered them being just like a downhill thing.
No, these are
these are full on, have a key, motor, drive around, go-kart.
Well, they say motor, and they give us a sound effect through the whole movie anytime any of these are driving. But they're definitely all battery powered, right?
Yeah, definitely.
There's no exhaust on any of them.
Especially in the one that they build later. There's no way there's an actual motor in.
They're all battery powered. powered. I do love the touch of putting in the putt sound
noise.
Yeah, full go-kart, and they have a slick one.
Yeah, it's nice.
Who built this thing? Where did this thing come from?
It's been undefeated since the beginning of time.
5 years.
5 years.
So again, this is my point.
Some of these kids weren't even alive when this thing
was probably not old enough.
Yeah, he was
to have been involved in building it.
He was 2 years old when
you get my point.
Probably.
This is what I was saying. Like, so much of this doesn't track.
I need the first generation. I want to know the origin of the man.
He's actually
Woman Haters Club.
He's actually Spanky the sixth. He's the sixth person to take that nickname.
Yeah, it's a title. Yeah. It gets handed down.
The Dread Pirate Roberts.
Yeah,
they each just take their name in the club, right?
In the club. That's what happens. You're Spanky now. You're Alfalfa now.
It's like it's the title, right?
Who's got the craziest hair? You're Buckwheat.
Spanky is the president. Alfalfa is the vice president, even though it should be STYMIE.
Mm-hmm. Damn right.
I wonder if STYMIE always is a position like that. He gets shafted.
Yeah, probably. Poor STYMIE.
Poor Stymies.
Stymies. Throughout the generation, the moniker and mantle of STYMIE has been cursed.
While all of this is going on with the raced car, we also get our first mention of AJ Ferguson.
The IndyCar driver.
Best IndyCar
driver.
In the whole world.
Yep. And
Watch your mouth.
He's gonna be the one handing out the trophy at the race.
But now is when we find out that they're gonna take their vote, or was it a vote?
Because he just kind of pulls a name out of a hat.
He said it was like it's a vote, but then he pulled it out like everybody's name was in a hat, and it was a random draw.
Hat.
I don't understand exactly what happened.
Maybe they were gonna vote on the name if he pulled a name and everyone was like, "Nah, fuck that guy."
But everybody's on board for Alfalfa.
Yeah, everybody loves Alfalfa.
Because Spanky says. My best friend.
My good buddy, my old pal.
Well, what's funny though is everybody else's description on who the kind of person they'd want is not Alfalfa.
No,
they're like,
we need a manly man who's so manly he'd jump off a building and hit a girl on the way just to be a dick or something like that. Spanky, right there. He hates bitches.
He really does.
He really does. Who hurt you, Spanky?
That's exactly it.
One little girl didn't give you a Valentine.
So as soon as he reads that it's going to be Alfalfa, and again, as a generation, we didn't know who Alfalfa was until the movie shows us. So our very first introduction to Alfalfa is right after he reads this, and we see him already on a date with a woman, already dissing his boys by singing to her. And yet this is the kid's name that we remember, not Stymie.
Yeah. What did fucking Spanky call him later on? A sissified Tweety Bird.
There's a whole bunch of them.
The sissified Tweety Bird. He's our hero. Hell no, Stymie's my hero.
Right. So we see the whole gang stroll up on the bridge above them because him and Darla are out on the water on one of those little foot boats.
No, it's got paddles.
Oh, it does have paddles?
It's just unnaturally still for some reason. It's not bobbing. It is anchored to the floor of the river or whatever they're on.
That's how they did it. Yeah, the group comes up, like you said, with the tin cans on fishing
string.
Pole. Two of them. Yeah.
So they can
the
hear.
old school phone trick, but he's just like casting it out.
And he's down there talking shit.
He talks some major shit.
He's like, I'm not like the rest of those guys. I'm a sensitive, male. I'm in touch with my feminine inside. Those other guys.
And I like women.
Yeah, I like girls. Those other guys don't know what they're talking about.
Like I said, this is our introduction to this character.
You just dissing your boys like that?
Not even trying.
No, dude.
And so the guys are like, oh, if he thinks he's going to do that.
Yeah, we got him.
We're not going to let him do that.
No, because they're going to have a picnic, right?
Well, she starts talking about the date. The boys were already mad because he's already talking smack.
Yeah.
But then Darla pushes it too far. She says, you're going to take me to eat in the clubhouse, right?
Yeah. A real man wouldn't be embarrassed by the woman he loved. Poor Alfalfa. He's just like, thinks about it for a minute. He's like, well, I mean, tomorrow everybody's going swimming. If I come up with some bullshit, yeah, we can do that. I can make this work. Yeah, you're on. Let's do this.
And then now the boys are furious.
Yeah, because they heard him.
They're furious.
They're like, man, fuck this guy.
They said no swimming.
No, we're gonna go bust up on this dude.
We got more important plans.
They're gonna ruin his picnic. I love this shit.
Straight away into the picnic.
Yeah, just goes right over to it.
We don't get to hear
inside.
We don't hear like fun plans from the boys.
No,
nothing. We just immediately cut to plan of the boys.
Yeah, Alfalfa and Darla, they're in there. He pulls out the table with the candles.
It's a bit much.
Lights it. Man, he's going all out for this shit.
I understand that in the 30s, this was like they were working.
Yeah,
kids were adults.
They went to work like everybody else in the 30s.
It's so crazy. crazy to watch this now, and you're just like, what's happening?
Right?
Here?
I'm over here. I'm like,
He's in a suit?
I wouldn't have let Alfalfa have them matches. You know, he's too little. He shouldn't be playing with matches like that. Lighting candles and shit. What is wrong with you?
No one asked Darla where she was going in full blue petticoat dress thing? What?
No.
It's so strange.
Be back before it gets dark, honey. That's it. That was all we got told.
Yeah, so they start the date. They've got, it's a full-on French restaurant setup here.
He's got little wine
candelabra
cups, little thing, and grape soda in a bottle, which promptly gets snatched by Frogman, and they pour it in a shoe, and they pour it back in a bottle.
It's so disgusting.
There's your foot juice.
Yeah.
Right?
And they pour it.
Spit it out.
Wouldn't you?
Yeah. Well,
they're both looking at it
like, what the hell? Like, she's looking at him like, what did you do? He's looking at her like, I don't understand why it tastes so bad. And they're like, well, let's just
Can soda go off?
Right? Does soda go bad like that? But then they're like, oh, we'll try the sandwiches. But while they were distracted with the bad soda, the boys went and put some kitty litter in them PB&Js, right?
In all of our excitement, we forgot to mention the bad guys. Butch and Woim.
Butch and Woim.
Woim, they showed up. Yeah, they showed up a while back. Yeah, so mentioning Butch and Woim also made me realize we skipped a couple of scenes.
Yeah, we did.
Not super important, but need to be said.
Yeah.
Bad on us. Maybe we should slow down a little bit this week. It's not a strong beer, but obviously if you're going too fast, it can still be a challenge.
Drink 4 in an hour. Probably not a good idea.
So the things that we missed prior to the date starting, like we already said, Butch and Woim.
Butch and Woim.
After they saw them from the distance and they realized that they were already working on their car.
Yeah, they go to go work on theirs.
And we see their cart. And I love the aesthetic of their cart. It does.
They call it the Beast.
And it looks dope.
It does look pretty cool, but they didn't put it together very well.
Looks like a what are those, like rat hot rods, you know?
Yeah.
The rat rod thing? Yeah, that's what it looked like. I love the look of this thing.
It just needed like a flame paint job on it.
But then they fall apart
real quick.
Right in front of Alfalfa.
As he's walking to the date. He's looking all spiffy. He's got the suit and the flowers.
And they're about to beat him up. Literally, he says, when was the last, like, poor him. They just happen to wreck right in front of him. When was the last time I beat you up?
It's November. It's a leap year.
It's a Tuesday.
Yesterday? You're due.
And so then they chase after him. I want to say this is outrageous because, again, this is a pretty big town and they just left a hunk of garbage
just in the street.
These kids are menaces.
Yeah, they are.
Nuisances.
The city ordinance just hates these fucking kids.
Just to show you just how bad we were, guys. Not only did we miss that little, again, that would have been a little tiny bit. Yeah, that wouldn't have been a huge deal.
We missed the introduction of a fucking important character.
So after he ran away,
he gets away.
He somehow makes it to Darla.
He runs through like a paint body shop, and the Butch and Woim get painted blue.
Yeah, and he then picks up Darla. They're on the way to the house, the clubhouse.
Yeah,
on the way there, a dog,
big ass dog, just
Doberman
jumps him and starts dissolving.
Alfalfa has
face.
no luck,
none. Can't catch a break.
Doberman attacks him, and then we see that it's Waldo Aloysius Johnston III, our preppy rich kid, the one that, like I said, was in Full House.
His dad just bought the oil refinery.
Again, pointing out the weirdness of this town.
Where is very weird, but I love Alfalfa's comeback. He's just like, that's why you're so oily. I was like, ooh, get him.
His face is smoother than a baby's bottom.
And it smells better, too.
I just was like...
The girls are immediately all over Waldo. They're like, oh my God, he's got money.
I was just like, I can't believe this.
That's
I was
what
like,
they said.
I know. I was like, he's not hit puberty. He should definitely be smoother than a baby's bottom.
Very true. And you would definitely hope it smells better. From my experiences, baby's bottoms smell like shit.
Mm-hmm. Now we can cut back to our date.
Yeah, now we can go back to the date.
So, like we said, he picks up Darla from her friends there. Because they're practicing safe dating rituals. Yeah. You should never go on a...
Yeah, her girlfriends are there to vet him. Yeah. Right? She's got her girlfriends there. They're like, all right, he doesn't look too sketchy. He's a little bit of a dork, but I think you're safe. You can go ahead.
Now we can go past everything we did.
The soda pops.
Fart sound.
Fartfidnugan. I have a little bit of Farfenugan. That was funny.
Yeah, we missed that the first time too.
we
So
did.
maybe it's good that
Yeah,
we
maybe
did
it was
this.
good. He sat on a whoopee cushion. There it is.
Sorry, I cut you off in the middle of that.
No, you're good.
The date though, back to the date.
Yeah, the kitty litter.
Yeah, the kitty litter. This was
This is a little far.
extremely far.
They both fucking eat it, and they're both not selling it. They're just like, "Oh, you made such a good sandwich," and they're both eating it. And each of them are just like, "Yeah, you made a good sandwich. It's so good." Crunch, crunch.
Before we pass it, my thought about the kitty litter is the rest of these are funny, harmless jokes.
Yeah.
Someone could have died or got really
Broken
ill
a tooth
on
Easy.
cat
You
litter.
know, they're like a lot of bad things can happen from it's clay.
That was
Right? It's clay and silica.
not a good
crumbles.
idea. That was a bad play.
Yeah, this is too far, guys. You really could have hurt your boy there. Screw the girl. We don't like her.
Yeah, then it's dessert time.
She bites into the snowball.
This is the only one that's not their fault. This was Alfalfa's.
yeah, this was all on him.
And she still at first was kind of like,
the fuck is in this? Because she crunches down on something too. She's like, "What's with all the crunchy shit?"
but it's a ring.
Yeah, it's a ring. And it took it. He had to buy.
5 Cracker Jack boxes to get
So
that
you
price.
buy them all at once, or
Well, it used to be a coveted thing to find the rings that were in. There's not a lot.
oh, I didn't know that.
It's a random toy, and you have a random chance to get it. And so people did use them like that. Bill and Ted.
So maybe that was more
Bill
special.
and Ted in the second one. That's what they both used as engagement rings to the princesses.
Cracker Jack rings.
Yes, Cracker Jack box ring.
That makes it more special.
I'm glad that
Not
I remembered
Bill and
that.
Ted, but this one.
Yeah.
because they're little kids. The Bill and Ted could have done better.
Could they?
I mean, fucking pawn something, dude. Get you $100 ring. I mean, come on.
She pulls out the ring. Let's go back to where we
spits
need
it out, and it's still got all goo and shit all over it.
I love it.
Oh my god! And they do the weird looking back and forth at each other, and he does the ear thing.
The scene is so funny because they both try to mimic each other's faces.
Yeah.
And then he busts out the ear wiggle, and she's just like,
I'm not doing that one.
I got nothing.
No,
I got nothing.
I can't do that.
Then he realizes the boys are outside.
Yeah, because they're like done. They're like, we're done with this shit. They're like banging on the door.
Let me give you a tour.
Yeah, here's the wall. Here's our
Another
other wall and our closet.
Would you go in?
Yeah, why don't you go on in there? Just kind of hang out. And she's like,
That
"Are you
was
out
the
of-
final straw.
She's like, are you out of your damn mind? I knew you were embarrassed of me. He's like, no, I'm not embarrassed of you. I just don't want anyone to see you.
And she's like, I've had enough. They even cut the scene to make you think she's about to walk out the door, right? Because
Yeah.
she's like, I've had enough. And you see
And
her
the
start
door
stopping.
open.
But it's him.
Alfalfa. He's got the
He's
rag
rocking
around his tooth.
like he's in like a Christmas Carol,
Right.
right? Like he's wearing the
My
like
poor
1800 style way that you take care of a toothache,
right, with the
it.
bandana wrapped around your head.
Oh man,
shit.
it's too much. And then as Spanky is immediately, how's that toothache, bub?
Doctor took my wisdom teeth.
He's like, it's getting a lot better actually.
Yeah, it's totally fine. And they're just like, uh-huh. So we're gonna go on in here now. And he's like, no, don't do that. And about that time, Darla's like, screw
Punches it.
drives the go-kart straight through a wall and knocks over a candle too, right? So
It's like you said, this is why he shouldn't be playing with matches.
So he opens the door and looks, and like the wall's on fire, and there's a big hole, and he just faints, right?
Yeah.
He just passes out. I've ruined everything.
Everybody else was like, oh no.
Oh no.
Stymie.
In charge, tells Buckwheat and Porky, you go call 911, and then the rest of them go, and this is awesome. They all have little fireman outfits.
They all have little fireman outfits, and we see this other thing. They have a smaller shed that is also theirs.
Yeah, that they like keep all this shit in.
Because this thing is separate from the clubhouse.
Yeah, it's off over there by the siren.
This is so random.
They even have a siren.
But then we see that not only do they have these outfits, they have a full plan.
Yeah, they have a drill.
Yeah.
They have drilled this.
Some of them are launching water balloons.
Some of them are on a bucket brigade.
They're not good at the bucket
No,
brigade.
they're not, because
spill
by the
all
time the water gets to the last guy, it's just a little drop, and he's like, "You need to put more water in the buckets."
That's one of those priceless, timeless gags
Yeah, it
right
is.
there. While this is going on, we see Buckwheat and Porky get to a payphone
And they're waiting in line
patiently.
because there's like 3 people in front of them.
When they finally get up to it, they do the classic on each other's shoulders, so that
Right.
way one of them can
Quick.
reach the phone.
What's the number for 911?
I
How
don't-
should I know?
And then they were like, well, that's okay. Let's give up. And they get down, and we see over their shoulder the fire department was across the street
Right,
the
it's
whole time.
literally just like right there.
Oh,
That's so good.
too good.
Could have just walked across the street.
Too good.
But Spanky and is it Stymie?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, they go to the
The
building
hose.
across the
Yeah,
street.
no, it is. And
throw
Stymie-
the hose out to him.
He throws it. They run through an
apartment building. It looked like.
I have no idea whose apartment, but a person's actual apartment.
Yeah,
because it's definitely someone's bathroom. That the hose, the
window they threw out. Yeah.
So they throw the hose through someone's apartment all the way outside. Then Spanky gets over. They turn it on, and we get, like I said earlier, the classic hose gag. You know, he's got one leg over it, and it turns on. And
rides it like a horse.
Oh, man.
So good.
It is. It's great. It's timeless for a reason.
But
it's always funny.
But it's to no avail, right?
No,
the whole thing
they were not
burns
able
down.
to do it in time, yeah.
Darla walks over to Alfalfa's unconscious body, throws the ring on him. He's like, I'm done with you. I don't ever want to talk to you
Doesn't
again.
even give... Well, and he's still
unconscious.
After saying all that, she then looks at everybody else and says, you tell him.
Tell him when he wakes up.
That's cold. Then Waldo shows up out of nowhere.
Yeah, out of fucking nowhere. He's like, there you are. I thought that was you. Come, let's go off and get sushi or whatever the fuck rich people do.
This is one of those things where, again, like, as adults, we understand they were just trying to push the story
Yeah, they're just trying to make the story go.
But it's, I mean...
Teleports, man. He's been following them all day.
As a kid, you wouldn't even think twice about that. But as an adult, I'm just like, where did he come from?
Right.
Why did he just show up?
Because it's not just like he's there. His limo and driver and dog are there. The whole thing. Like, he's been following them all day. And then didn't help with the fire? You just sat there and watched?
It's outrageous, dude. I don't understand
asshole.
it. Now we see that they've got a burned down clubhouse.
Yep.
They're having a meeting inside.
They're going to have a trial.
The burned down clubhouse
still
cool. Look dope.
Yeah, it still looks pretty cool.
As a 7-year-old,
I'd have still played there.
I would have hung the fuck out there.
Would have been dope.
I would have still wanted all my friends.
It has that campfire smell now, right?
Yeah, your clothes might smell a little rough. You're right. After too many nights there, you might be like,
I smell like smoke.
Yeah, you're right. It's a trial, but it's a meeting that has a trial in it.
I love this shit. Spanky's just like, Alfalfa, how do you plead? Like this. Oh, please, oh, please, oh, please, have mercy.
Buckwheat. That's some pretty good pleading.
Mm-hmm. These dumb little jokes like that. I love them so much.
They're great. I don't care. You can be any age. That's funny.
That's funny.
That was funny.
That was really good.
As soon as he's done pleading, he even agrees with Buckwheat. He's like, well, that's good pleading. But then he immediately goes, I don't care, though. Execution at dawn.
Yep, we're going to execute you at dawn.
STYMIE, again.
Again, hero steps in.
Is like, we shouldn't do that. My question to you right now, what do you think their form of execution was going to be?
Paint water balloon to the back of the head at 30 paces? I think push you off a cliff? I don't know.
Execution.
Yeah, we got dark all of a sudden.
They went quick.
He's Lord of the Flies, right? Man. They're going after you. But no, they don't execute him.
No. He talks, STYMIE talks, again, STYMIE's the man of reason.
He talks sense into the mob.
And he says, we shouldn't do that. I've got a better idea. Someone needs to watch the car.
Yep.
Night and day.
Night and day. He's got to guard the go-kart. And he's not allowed to talk to Darla.
Not only not talk to her, he says not think about her.
Not think about her.
He's not allowed to have
either.
a thought about her.
Yep.
And I was like, man, these guys are the thought police now? These guys are getting a little intense. That's all I'm saying. Then we get the dream sequence.
I love the dream sequence. I love his little kilt.
This thing was intense, man. Everything about it. The storm, the fucking craziness, the kilts, the
bagpipes, fucking Porky and Buckwheat over there playing bagpipes and shit.
All of it was so much, man. I was just like, what is happening here?
Yeah, it's basically just like choose the girl or your boys. Choose or die. And then they
choose or die.
And they push him off the cliff.
Die. Again, that's quite a chant to be coming from a 7-year-old
from a bunch of kids.
Movie.
That's terrifying. I would run away. Full grown man, a bunch of kids coming at me, chanting choose or die. I'm out.
And he wakes up, everybody's huddled around him.
Yeah, everybody's there.
You can physically see that he is wet in the scene. They don't mention it immediately, but he's just kind of sitting there and he's like, what's going on? What are you guys all doing here?
We came to keep you company, man.
Why am I wet?
Forky's just like, don't worry, man. I used to have that problem too.
I love that. Because when he first says it, Alfalfa for real was like, oh no, did I?
Did I? Spanky, though, he's like, no, there's just a hole in the tent.
In the bottom of the tent, too. That was the funny part. He goes, there's just a hole in it. And he steps and it shoots water, dude, like a water
right into Alfalfa's face again.
Which means he was literally laying in a
puddle that had bubbled.
Oh, man. Could you imagine how...
It's like a waterbed with a leak.
He's lucky he didn't pee himself.
Yeah, for real.
That's the kind of thing.
Have known. I'm already wet. I have no idea.
The same night, though, we get a cutaway to what the girls are
doing.
to.
They're having a sleepover too, and
we know it's the same night because we see the same storm.
Yep, because
out the window.
Lightning outside.
As we've already mentioned earlier, this is when the Olsen twins show up. Hell of a cameo.
Yep,
you're just like watching the movie. We've seen we've seen Darla and two of her friends a couple of times by now, and then all of a sudden you're just like, Olsen twins.
Olsen twins. Why don't they have a bigger part? What the fuck?
It can't be a movie in the 90s with girls this age without dropping the Olsen twins.
It's true.
Right? Like, I mean,
they're in everything.
During this back and forth of the night, right, we hear even more of why these boys started this club. And they sound even worse like a bunch of like Andrew Tate
toxic masculinity douchebags.
Right? Because it's all just like, I can't believe that they would treat me like this, or they would say something like that, and they would be like this. And I'm just like, yo, you guys sound...
Girls are all just Barbies and bracelets, and man, they're cut over to the girls and they're like, oh, they're just about farting and fighting. And
I want to point out, beyond the first two, right?
Yeah.
After that, everything both groups say are all 100% unisex. Like, they are things that both sexes would do. Because like, the girls are like mountain climbing and like this and like
bungee jumping. And it's like, I mean, that's not everybody bungee jumps.
Yeah, lots of people are thrill seekers.
Yeah.
But that's basically how, I mean, that's the whole thing, right?
Yeah,
the whole night is just for us to see
for them to be like, oh, the boys don't like the girls and the girls don't like the boys. They
all
smell weird.
All for stupid reasons.
Yeah, all for stupid reasons.
None of them
except
are even
Alfalfa.
Even little kid reasons. Like, those are even stupid for little kids.
Yeah. Alfalfa's, he's kind of just sitting there.
Because we already know he doesn't believe in this.
He likes girls.
No ways can convince him otherwise.
Sap.
Next thing we get, though, is, I love music, so I have to point it out. This is where we get Randy Newman.
Yes.
Short People.
This song is so...
The song is called Short People. You know a movie is good if it's got Randy Newman.
It's just the song seems a little offensive to little people. Really? They got little hands, tiny eyes, always going around telling big old lies.
He's talking about little kids. I mean, like, yes, the song is Short People, but he does mean children, not carnies or something. But yeah,
circus folk, you know.
I do
smell like cabbage. Small hands.
I do absolutely love this scene because I love Randy Newman. I love when I hear Randy Newman's song.
As soon as I heard it, I was just like, yeah.
You know, like
he's got that voice.
You gotta give me I Love L.A. You gotta give me
the Monk theme song,
right? Like all of these things. Toy Story,
of course, yeah.
And then of course the Randy Newman song though is just playing for us to get the montage of the boys trying to figure out
how to get wood.
Well, and just in general how to save the clubhouse. The wood is just the first step.
Yep.
Right. And so they're like, how can we get the wood? And they're there, literal wagon train.
They thought they were going to load up, man.
Yeah. But when they got there, Norm from Cheers, they're like, how much wood can we get for this?
It's just a bunch of pocket stuff and like some pennies.
And he literally goes, this, and it's like a
3-inch piece of wood.
It's already scrap. Yes. It's scrap.
It is a kindling.
Yeah.
Here, go start a fire.
And they're like, what? And then we see them walking away in the wagon train.
The wood is in the fucking wagon.
STYMIE, because they did pay for it. STYMIE says $480 or something like that.
Something crazy.
How are we supposed to come up with that? Lumber's so expensive, and I just want to be like, man, they should exist today.
Yeah, fuck, $450 a lumber getting you shit.
Yeah, it's today $450 probably gets you what they already had in the wagon.
Yeah, probably. Here you go. Here's your little tiny piece of freaking wood.
Yeah, so these kids though, now they're trying to figure out where they're going to come up with it. The wagon train happens to walk past a bank, and STYMIE. Again, how do we not know his name?
I know.
He is so important to everything. STYMIE says, this
instant loan sign right there.
We need to do this.
I love their plan. They stack up on top of each other.
This is how crazy this movie works, right? We see them point at sign, and then literally half a second later, we see them come in fake Amish outfit.
Full costume.
No explanation,
beards,
no anything.
Hats.
You just know.
They're just all stacked on each other's shoulders, and they walk up to our other cameo, Mel Brooks, who is denying a hardworking family man of 6 his loan for no reason. They want you to know
he is a asshole banker, for sure.
Exactly. As soon as you see him.
As soon as he gets done doing his thing, he says, how can I help you?
We want to take out a loan. Do you have an account here? And
of course.
Yeah, what's the number?
7.
Try 8.
8.
He actually looks up and actually looks at him
and he goes, I'm done.
All right, I'm done.
This is over.
If you were my kids, I'd punish you.
He snaps the beard.
If we were your kids, we'd punish ourselves. So that doesn't work. They don't get the loan for that.
When they walk out the door,
they walk past two Amish guys in the
that
same
look exactly
getup.
like them. Now, I want to say this to you. Do you remember when I was a kid? I remember, and I looked this up because I remembered this scene. And according to what I looked up, it says that this was only ever on ABC or the Family Channel, because it was owned by ABC, when they would air it. A deleted scene from this moment where you get to see what happens when the Amish guys go inside. I remember this. I don't know if it was in the original cut of the movie, but I definitely know it wasn't from either of those networks. This is what happens. I'll tell you, so that way we can see if you remember. The Amish guys go inside, and they are trying to get a loan. And when they try to get the loan, Mel Brooks thinks it's the same people. He thinks it's the boys again. And he grabs the beard and pulls on it.
No, I don't remember.
To which the Amish guys say, we're taking our $2 million to another bank. And then that's how the scene ends.
Aw, I don't remember that. They should have left that in.
They should have. Now I feel weird, because now I feel like I don't know where I got Mandela affected at. Because to me, that's not a special for one of those. I definitely didn't watch it on either of those. Maybe.
Deleted scene on a DVD?
No, because I remember it being in the movie. I don't know.
Sometimes the theatrical release will have stuff before it got
before they decide to cut it.
Maybe. I was
too young for remember the theatrical. Yeah, I know. I'm not trying to say you should.
I remember going. I don't remember.
I have to ask the other family members that went, so that way I can see if it's
ask the older ones,
other Mandela affected, or if it's just me. The main takeaway there, though, was it did not work.
Oh shit! Mel Brooks has the best line in the entire thing. STYMIE is like, you can't treat people this way. He looks at me, he's like, you're not people, you're kids.
The 90s loved that.
Right.
It's exactly like Matilda. Right? Like, I mean,
kids Matilda.
Kids have no rights.
Yeah, fuck you. You're a kid. Shut up, sit down, be quiet.
Now is when we get the little bit of a segue. If you have been wondering while this was going on, where'd Alfalfa go? Shouldn't he be helping? Again, how we all don't remember STYMIE, but we all remember Alfalfa.
Yep.
He's not with Spanky.
No.
Alfalfa is the one he's technically still being punished. He is being guarded to make sure he's not thinking of Darla.
Yep, by Buckwheat and Porky. They even come up on him like, not thinking about Darla, are you?
And he says, no, of course not. I even want you to take a letter to her.
We ain't gonna be delivering no love notes.
Oh, no, it's a hate note.
Oh, well, that would be okay.
And so he tells them what the letter says as he writes, I love you. I want to see you.
Oh,
I miss
you so much. Blah, 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 blah.
And he dictates out loud to them, I hate you. You're horrible.
You make me want to vomit.
Yeah,
you're the scum between my toes.
Crazy stuff.
Here, take this to her now.
Comedy of errors. They get there. They're going to tell her what the note says. They can't find it, but they can because he blew his nose in it.
He's like, oh, well.
Now, I want to say, these two kids can't remember anything. They can't do anything right.
But this one he gets spot on, word for word.
But he remembers every single thing.
Every little bit of it.
That he got told by Alfalfa.
Because he didn't even read it. He was told it.
And so after delivering the news to Darla, we see her very upset just at the first couple of words. We don't get to hear the whole thing. But she was upset at the first words. Then we see back to Alfalfa. And Alfalfa just goes, was she mad?
They're like, oh yeah, man, she was super mad. It was great.
Because again, they thought that's what he wanted.
Mission accomplished, right?
And he's like, oh, I'm going to need to go talk to her to fix it.
Yeah, you're not allowed to do that.
No, it's not even that he wasn't allowed. They do mention that, but it's also, you can't. She's got a ballet recital. She was on her way. Because when they were at the door,
she had the ballerina outfit on and shit. Plus, Spanky says you can't go, right? And he's like, I don't care what Spanky says. He's not my boss. And Spanky walks up right behind him. Like, how are you, pal? Yeah, you want to run that by me again, asshole?
Oh, wait. We're almost forgetting my favorite joke. Again, if we're talking about Porky and Buckwheat and how they're the best and they get the best jokes, they say there's two reasons, right? Remember this? Do you remember this? There's two reasons why he can't go see her.
Exactly.
We already mentioned both of them. One is that
ballet recital.
And two is that he's not supposed to think about her. When they go to say, what's number 2 again? Buckwheat looks over at Porky and Porky leans in to whisper and goes, psst, psst, psst. Ew.
No, not that one. The other number 2.
Gotta love a good poo joke.
Right.
Gotta love a good poo joke. Sorry, I couldn't let that one. We slid past so many other things. I can't let that one slide.
Can't let that one slide.
That's my literal favorite joke in the movie is the poo joke.
Because it's number 2, you see.
Sorry, I had to mention my number 2 joke, but you're right. After the number 2 joke, Spanky walks up behind Alfalfa and is just like, what were you saying, buddy?
Yeah.
You're going to go do what?
You're going to do what now? No. What really happens is Spanky's like, no, we're going to go. You're going to break up with Darla, which I find redundant because she already broke up with him.
Yeah. I was like, what? Why?
I guess closure, make himself feel better. Like, you can't fire me. I quit. Those kind of deals.
But again, it's not even, he's making someone else do it. It's not, I mean,
he thinks it'll help and he's in charge. So Alfalfa's going to go break up with this bitch at her ballet recital.
And he goes with it. Alfalfa doesn't argue.
Yeah, he doesn't really argue, does he?
He just says, okay. And we see Buckwheat and Porky got left on guard duty with fishing poles. And we see that Butch and Woim
are there.
Are plotting.
They got an idea.
To try to steal.
They're going to put $1 on a duck.
So they can steal the cart. Like stealing candy from a baby.
And they chase after that duck. Come here, ducky. Ducky got $1.
Nothing beats a buck and a duck.
But they didn't consider the fact that the car might be booby-trapped. Pulls the key, sets off the Rube Goldberg device, and then big jar of fucking pickles, man. Oh no, not the pickles.
Covered.
I'd be upset. I don't want to smell like a pickle.
I got $1.
I do this when I get $1. I'm like, I got $1. I got $1. I got $1. Hey. You have to, man.
It's good.
This is why Buckwheat's the best character. He sings, he dances, he's got the crazy hair, he's the best.
Now, I want to point something out that I never noticed until this time. After this is finished, right, and Butch and Woim, they run off. When we see them run off, they're standing, there's like a split second. The camera pauses on them on the street, and they're standing beside Waldo's limo. I mean, his dog is standing outside of it and everything. It almost looked like they were talking to it. I feel like there was a subplot
where Waldo hired them to go fuck with Alfalfa
the car
and them
or
and
something.
Shit. Yeah, rig the race or some shit.
Well,
maybe.
Think about most of the movie, dude. It would almost make more sense that that's what happened than just them doing it on their own.
Yeah, it would. He paid them to go mess with the thing.
You'll need to go back and watch it one more time.
Yeah, I missed that.
Just remember that it's right after the pickle juice.
Right after the pickle juice. And the We Got $1 dance.
Yep. Spanky and Alfalfa show up to the ballet recital trying to go talk to Darla.
But Leah Thompson won't let them in.
She says, hell no, boys. Get up out of here. They sneak in.
Yeah.
Of course.
Well, that and Butch and Woim show up. And
they have to.
Well, fuck, we got to get out of here. So they go in. And there's a funny bit that, like, they open a door, a bunch of girls scream. They open another door, a bunch of girls scream. And then they go in another room called a costume room, right?
And they come out.
Yep. Dressed as ballerinas with nice, pretty wigs.
The wigs were the part that I was like, they just got child-sized wigs in there.
My thing was Butch and Woim come in there and they're just like, hey, man, did you see these 2 ugly-ass dudes come in here? You fine chicks. It's like, wait, they put a wig on and suddenly they're not ugly dudes?
Well, again, we're going by 1930s rules.
The Bugs Bunny effect.
Yeah.
Right?
Totally, man.
Bugs always looked good when he was in drag, right?
That's exactly what this is.
But they go and
they're telling them where to look.
Yeah, they're like, go look over here in that room. Oh, we think we saw him go in there. They
mess up big time.
Yeah, they do.
Like Alfalfa and Spanky, they barge in on children.
Yeah, people their own age.
Who are upset but not freaking out, right? Like, I mean, they're like, not poor Butch and Woim.
No, they bust in on Leah Thompson getting in her ballerina.
And she says,
get up.
Oh,
fuck no.
Hell
she
no,
grabs
you
them
don't.
by the ear and drags their asses out of the building.
We're not going to be having none of that.
None of that shit, sir. You get out of here. Poor Spanky and Alfalfa go in the door and walk smack right into Darla and all of her friends.
While they're still dressed like girls. Because they were trying to go change, right?
Yeah,
they were like, oh, we're safe. We can change.
Yeah, we can go get our shit. And they go in the wrong door. Shit.
When they get in there, though, we hear almost immediately, because the girls all just are like, oh, we don't know you. Let's be friends. This is not how boys would be.
No.
But so they're like, let's be friends. And now I'm going to tell you my whole life story. And they immediately say, Waldo's going to be here. Oh, that's Darla's boyfriend. Proving, as we said, there was no reason for them to be here in the first place.
Yep, right. Your whole reason was to come here and break up with her.
But she's not dating.
Her boyfriend's sitting in the audience. We're done. Mission accomplished. Let's go fuck home.
During the moment, though, we hear from Darla. She so does love Alfalfa's singing.
Yeah, that's her soft spot.
Tone deaf horrible
voice
crooning.
cracking, pubescent.
It's not even pubescent voice cracking though. He's too young for that.
Yeah, that's true. It's just
just bad singing.
It's so bad.
That's her favorite. It's so romantical.
That girl. Everything is romantical. It's so romantical.
While they're standing there, they again they think they're about to make an escape again.
Yep, they're like,
they're turning around and they're like, "It was
nice talking to you." Stuff. Here comes
right when
Leah
they turn
Thompson
around
again,
and she's like, "On the stage, on the stage, on the stage.
Time to go. Showtime. Let's go."
Those two stood out so bad once the stage, like when they were on stage and dancing and movement started.
Spanky was the best, man. He's up there. He's just getting it. He's just jiving, just shaking his butt.
He sent it. I'll give him that much.
Right.
He still stood out. But
The
he
crowd
sent
liked it.
Well, that's what I'll say for the whole scene. Then they pull the frog out. Alfalfa goes nuts trying to dance with the frog in his outfit. Those adults had more fun than they have ever had. Did you hear all of them? They were laughing and enjoying it.
This was the best dance recital they've ever been to.
So Leah Thompson comes out when it's finished and she's pissed. And I'm like, no, bullshit.
My recital.
Bullshit. They probably raised more money that night than any other night they've ever put on
They're
one of
going to
those
talk
recitals.
about this for fucking years.
Because most of the time those parents go and it's the dullest thing they've ever sat through. And tonight, it was exciting.
Fun. Man, those two boys came in dressed to drag and had a frog in their pants. It was great.
Well, the parents wouldn't have known that.
Oh, yeah, they wouldn't have known that either.
She finds that out. She pulls the wig off.
Because Alfalfa's like, oh, shit, I got to get this thing off because the frog's in there. Yeah. So he just jumps behind a curtain and just takes it all off.
And so, again,
in his underwear.
The parents wouldn't have known yet.
Yeah.
The underwear.
The underwear. Which is worse, having to walk home in a leotard or in your underwear.
But before they can make it outside, right?
Butch and William are still out there.
How they're all... So they escaped Leah Thompson.
Yeah.
And they see out the window because they're like, well, we need to leave immediately. They can't. Yeah. Butch and William are outside. Spanky says, I'm going to take one for the team.
He does. This is a good dude right here. He goes, I'll distract him. You run. He goes out there and he struts. Hey, boys. Going my way. No, man, we're looking for them boys. We're trying to beat somebody's ass. Ah, well, you snooze, you lose and stuff. Walks under a branch and it catches the wig, pulls it off of him.
And so he runs. We don't really know what happens. We assume he gets away.
Yeah, we assume.
Because we don't hear him or see him with a black eye.
And we assume nobody else saw him in the fucking tutu and shit.
Alfalfa, though, he makes his run during all of this.
In his underwear.
And somehow runs straight to Waldo's property?
Yeah, like through his kitchen and then into the pool. How'd he get there?
I don't know.
And how'd they get there so fast? Like she was at the recital.
No, that's the part I was going to say that's insane. They all leave the recital roughly the same time. Right. And he runs. I mean, there is almost not a wasted second from when the recital ended to when he shows up to Waldo's house. And when he gets there, they're already hanging out at the pool.
Swimsuits, fruity drinks, chilling in the jacuzzi and shit. It's like, well, how the fuck did you get here?
She was in the same recital.
Right?
If anything, she would have still been there because she would have still been getting the flowers and the chairs. Yeah. They weren't worried about that. They needed to leave.
Right? She hasn't even changed out of her shit yet.
So bizarre.
Teleport. Instant transmission, man. Just zoom.
But like he said, he lost his underwear.
He's flashing his dick to everybody. I would have strutted when they're both laughing at me and shit. I'd have flexed. I'd have been like, yeah, whatever, fuck you. And then ran.
During this, though, there was a cutaway scene. I didn't want to stop to talk about it, but I got to talk about it now.
All right.
It's the follow-up to the $1. You know what I'm going to say?
Is it the pickle?
I have a pickle.
I have a pickle. I got 2 pickles today.
This buckwheat?
Buckwheat and Porky.
Yeah. Like we said to you guys already.
They're eating the pickles.
They get the best scenes. They're eating the pickles. Porky says, I don't really like pickles.
This is the realest line delivery he had in the entire movie. I think this wasn't even in the script. He just was legit like, I don't like pickles.
So then he says, I'll sell it to you for a nickel.
I sell you my pickle for a nickel.
I love Buckwheat even says, how about 2 cents?
Deal.
I got 2 pickles. I got 2 pickles. I got 2 pickles. Hey, hey, hey.
And then he looks over at me. He's like, are these kosher? And then Alfalfa runs up in his underwear and they're just like, bad day? I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, rough day.
He's like, no, I just felt like running in my underwear. It was very breezy, freeing.
Now we cut to the carnival. This is the part where I want to say, we're getting close to the end.
We're getting close.
How many days was this all supposed to be? Because we see the carnival right now. Is it the same carnival that the movie ends on? Is it a multiple day carnival?
It'd have to be because they had to build a car and shit. It'd have to be at least like a weekend carnival.
I don't know. This is why I was saying to you, it's so weird.
I didn't even think of that.
Because we see this.
Because carnival's like right now, they're having the parade and then they're marching with their little flag.
And then very soon we're going to have the race. And the race is part of the carnival.
Yeah.
The same balloon.
There's going to be shit after the race. Because
the same balloon archway is seen. Yeah. The same merry-go-round, Ferris wheel, all of it.
It's got to be a multi-day festival thing.
I hope so, man.
It has to be.
I hope so. We see they got some plans on what they're going to do while the carnival is in, right? They're going to set up their own booth to try to make some money. The whole gang.
They're good because they still need money to build the clubhouse, man.
Right.
So they're going to set up a little booth, a little Ripley's Believe It or Not style. Come see the freak.
Admission. Shun. S-H-U-N. Admission. $3.
Hell yeah, man.
Porky and Buckwheat are like, I got a plan. Can we take this?
Yeah,
sure. Whatever. Do what you guys do. Just whatever.
Go over there and do
we don't
something.
Even need to hear about it.
We don't need you over here at this booth.
We got this. I love their booth though. I love their booth. We got a 4-foot man eating chicken.
See the 4-foot man eating chicken, everybody. It's literally one of the kids.
It's just one of the kids with a fake mustache. Eating 4-foot man.
4-foot man. Eating chicken.
Eating fried chicken out of a bucket. It is not a 4-foot tall chicken that eats men. It is a 4-foot tall man.
They didn't lie an
They
ounce.
didn't. That sign was telling the truth. It's not their fault if you read the sign incorrectly.
If you thought that is your fault for interpreting it that way. This is clearly a 4-foot tall man who is eating chicken. I laughed way too long at that. That was the dumbest fuck joke, but I laughed so hard.
Now's when we see what Alfalfa's up to after his horrible event with seeing Darla and hearing what she had to say.
Yeah.
Oh, we almost forgot. He did get her hanky.
Oh, yeah, he did.
This comes up later. It's the only reason we need to mention it. He got her hanky while he was dressed up as a girl.
Yep.
Because he said he was sweating like a pig.
And
no, he was sweating like a pig.
He's sweating like a pig.
He needed to wipe his
pits and shit. Yeah. And she's like, you can keep it. And he's like, all right, cool.
But right now, though, is the moment where we're dealing with the aftermath of everything that happened there. And he's writing down in his book, I will not think of Darla.
I will not think of Darla. Over and over again.
I will not think of Darla. I will not think of Darla. Until he runs out of paper.
Petey, I've run out of paper.
And he even says to himself, oh no, what am I going to do now? Because if he's not writing it, he's going to think of Darla. Not that he's not thinking of Darla while writing her name 1,000 times.
Again. Yeah.
Kids, man.
It's whatever.
Kids.
But Petey helps. He finds a little scrap of cardboard, paper shit,
from her right on.
Brings it up to him. Uh-oh.
It's the plan from when they were wrecking his date.
Yep, it's got the foot soda and the sand.
He knows his friend turned on him.
Yeah, he's like, that was Spanky, that son of a bitch. So then he jumps in the blur and takes off.
We know that was a bad move,
yeah,
dude. Like, that was the dumbest. Like, you're just like, Alfalfa, dude. You could have done 100 things right now. I'd probably still be on your side. Taking the cart.
Yep,
not
he took the car, but
not
he wanted to get to the festival fast.
I know. Not the move, though.
Should have rode Petey.
And now we finally see what Buckwheat and Porky were up to when they stole the sign.
Yep.
There's a talent show as part of this carnival.
Yeah.
And they sat in front of the tent for the talent show with a sign that said, admission. $3.
And people just kept handing him money.
Literally, the gang walks up and one of them says, it might have been Froggy, right? And he goes, I can't do that. I can't do it.
I thought the talent show was free.
Right? And they're like, well, it is.
It is. But we put the sign up and people kept handing us money.
Spanky says, sweet, I'm taking over.
Yep, you guys are relieved.
The second he sits down,
that fucking teacher shows up.
Daryl Hannah. She shows up and is like, I can't believe you. If it would have been the younger boys.
If it would have been a 4-year-old, I would have understood.
And it was.
You should have let fucking Buckwheat and Porky
exactly.
stay there.
You would have let them.
She would have been like, oh, well. But you, Spanky, you're a leader among men. You know better. You're the goddamn president.
She's like, what am I supposed to do? I can't just walk up to everybody and hand this money back.
Yes,
and he
you
says,
fucking can.
I think I think I've got a good idea.
Yeah, he has a brilliant idea.
We don't hear it yet. I think we all know, though.
Yeah.
It's prize money.
Prize money. Put it up for the race.
Because they need it. And if he can't outright have it.
And they've been saying the whole movie that nothing can beat their car. Nothing beats their car.
They're sure to win.
It's a shoe-in.
When all this is going on, Alfalfa rolls up in the car.
He's pissed.
He walks up to the teacher. Is it too late? Can I enter?
Can I enter?
He hears them singing.
Yeah, fucking
Darla and
doing
Waldo
some Frank Sinatra and shit up
there doing
L
yeah
is for the way you look looking at me.
Love was made for me and you.
Yeah, that one.
Little kids. These are little kids.
We've all heard this song.
It's small children, though. It's so crazy.
The kid wasn't bad, though.
No, he's
I'll
good.
Give him that. He's pretty good.
That's what, again, he does a lot of it in Full House.
Way
too.
fucking better than Alfalfa.
Way better than Darla.
Yeah, well, goddamn.
She was rough. At least Alfalfa's bad on purpose.
Yeah, he's bad on purpose. She was just bad.
Yeah. But yeah, so when he hears that they're singing together, he's like, well, I gotta let her know how I feel. I gotta sing too. We hear him warming up my vocalizer.
My vocalizer. Figaro, Figaro, Figaro.
Then the Barber of Seville. He's all over the place with these songs.
Gotta get a range, right? Really flex the vocalizer.
Now's when two things happen. One, while Butch and Woim steal the...
Yeah, they steal the car because Alfalfa's dumbass just left it
right there.
Just out in the middle of... out behind shit. It wasn't even where like people could see it, dumbass.
Stupid. And we find out that Waldo is 100% a bad guy.
Yeah, he's a dick.
Like up until now, it's kind of just like coincidence.
Hey,
he shows up and the girl likes him. It's not really his fault.
Kind of moving in on dude's territory, but you're not doing anything that wrong.
But he didn't know.
Yeah, he didn't know.
So it's not really like, again, it's a Karate Kid syndrome.
Don't be worming my chicks.
Waldo didn't know. But this is the moment where he crosses into, regardless of knowing beforehand, you're the bad guy. Yep. Because he's like, oh, you're going to sing in this competition too?
All right.
I'm going to fuck that up for you.
Have some soap.
Puts the soap in his water.
Dish soap.
Now, I got a problem with this because there is no way. That would hit your mouth and you would feel the texture difference between water and soapy water.
Yeah, immediately. You would
and not still swallow.
No, you'd be like, ah.
But so we see Alfalfa, though, does the opposite.
I do like this effect. They went and did like a super old school, some kind of crossover effect. Yeah. It looked old from the 40s and shit.
He chugs this water, goes out on stage, and he starts singing. And as he's singing, we just see bubbles
just shooting out of his mouth.
Sometimes all I need is the air that I breathe.
Bubble.
Just to love you.
Bubble.
And then it just goes more and more until it literally looks like a gun.
Yeah, right.
Like one of those bubble guns.
Is just shooting everywhere. They're popping all over the crowd and stuff. Spanky's like, I'm done. I gotta go put this fool out of his misery.
And exactly. As if it wasn't crazy enough already with the bubbles.
Right.
Then they masterfully get him hooked onto the moon.
The half moon thing. And start pulling him up into the
and so now
air.
He's hanging in the air and he's singing.
And bubbles
flying. Oh, we forgot to mention. Before it all started, he dedicated the song.
He dedicated it to Darla, and she's
the whole time was like, don't say my name, don't say my name. So,
fuck.
So not only did he say her name, he then proceeded to make the largest ass out of himself. Humanly possible. Not all his fault. No. Mostly not his fault.
Mostly not. But God, he looks so fucking bad. It was like, dude, just stop. I would have stopped when the bubbles started happening.
Because again, the only reason he's there singing is because she said she liked
his voice for reasons unknown to everyone else.
And then when it's all over, though, we see he runs up to Spanky and he's like, but this is all your fault anyway.
This is on you. You're the one that ruined my date.
You Benedict Arnold. You Judas Priest.
You Judas Priest. I loved it. And don't you call me a Judas Priest, you Muzak warbling
wimp. You Muzak warbling wimp. That's my favorite line that he throws out during this little tirade.
I love the insults.
Yeah, they throw a bunch of them back and forth right now. And it ends, though, with them realizing the car is gone.
Yep.
And then literally Spanky says, if we had a club, I'd throw you out of it. Alfalfa, if we had a club, I'd leave. And that's the end. They storm off.
They storm off, and then it's
montage
like
of friends missing each other. Everybody. Why is the rest of the gang not hanging out?
I don't know, because Alfalfa and Spanky are mad at each other, and the dictates of the club maintain that if president and vice president aren't getting along, no one else
Did you
hang
notice
out.
What the sad song was?
No.
It's a Reba song.
Oh, is it?
It's foreshadowing that Reba's coming up.
Hell yeah.
Like we keep saying, the running gag here is that STYMIE, we should remember STYMIE. STYMIE's the one who puts an end to them being depressed and hating each other's life because they're not with each other. He looks at it and he says, you got to remember, a once-in-a-lifetime friend
only comes along once in a lifetime.
Oh, that's
why they call it that.
Deep shit, dude.
So they go and they're going to apologize. And they're all standing there and they're like, man, I'm sorry I called you this. He's like, like, I'm sorry I called you a jumbo jerk fried jerk.
Yeah.
And he's like, you didn't call me that. And he's like, oh, I must have been thinking it.
Now, this is another time, and I couldn't find this one, but I swear this is another one of those things where I remember maybe the theatrical release had this and this one didn't. But I remember the gag being, because we see the first time we see it, right? It's like split screen of them sitting on their porches.
Yeah.
And we see them walk all this crazy way. I swear that the end gag of that was supposed to be that when we see them not find each other that first time and they walk back, that we see them walk back and it's split screen of the houses, but then we see the split screen disappear and the houses are
right
actually next to each other.
No, I didn't see that.
I swear, man.
That's a funnier fucking joke.
I swear that's what it was. It's definitely in a movie.
It's way funnier than them just kind of being at the tree later.
I swear to you that's what this was.
That's not how it actually was, and they changed it. I'm so pissed. That's way better.
But so now they're buddies again.
Yeah, they have the whole thing where
they got a rally.
Fucking STYMIE again comes up and shit. Just like, man, I wish we still had a clubhouse and stuff. And they're like, man, y'all didn't burn down the club. You burned down a clubhouse. A club is buddies who stick together.
So we gotta rally.
We
and
can
build
still
this
win
car.
this, man.
Everybody go get parts and come back here.
Montage.
I'm not even shitting you. Spanky says the words. You guys get a turbocharger.
Yep, get us a turbocharger.
Shut up right now.
Let's go find one of those real quick.
But yeah, now we see what is the funnest montage of like kids grabbing junk.
Yep, just grabbing any random crap and magically building a go-kart out of it.
The washing machine
break
parts.
the washing machine and shit for the motors.
I love the ingenuity. I will say
it's
that.
So great. I love their car when they get it done. The Blur 2, the sequel.
They got all the trash in the trunks and shit. Hey, does it stink in there? Okay.
It's a closing back up.
Dumb jokes. I love Now's again when we see it's time for the race to start, and we can see that the race is part of the same carnival.
Yeah,
which is why I said
rides and shit.
This is why I said if this is not a 2-day carnival, then it literally means the movie takes place in way shorter of a time than your head even thinks, right?
And these kids have superpowers.
It means that literally it took place in like 2 days.
Right.
Maybe 3.
These kids are the Flash. That's
Holy
why they can do this shit so fast. They zoop, 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 zoop.
We see everybody pulling up, getting ready for the race to start. We see there's a tank.
The tank one was the dopest
There's
one.
a bunch of cars.
There's
the
one that's like a boat. That one was cool.
And then we see Waldo ride up
in his bobsled. It looks like a bobsled.
It's a space shuttle, dude.
Oh, is it?
It's supposed to literally be a space shuttle.
It looks like one of the bobsleds.
That's why their shit looks like space suit things.
Didn't translate to me. Looked like Cool Runnings, one of the bobsleds. That's what I took.
It's literally the same design. This is the part where you're gonna feel. Do you remember the Simpsons downhill soapbox derby episode? Martin makes a space shuttle one. He makes the space shuttle one and wears this outfit, dude. The high-tech space age fucking dome.
Fuck. I went Cool Runnings. That's where I went. I went a completely different fucking direction.
But yeah, it's definitely supposed to be a space shuttle. That's the future look.
We'll blend them. The Bob Shuttle.
Yeah, that sounds good. So they roll up in the Bob Shuttle. While it's going on, though, we see the phone call to his dad.
I'm going to win, Dad. You're going to be so proud of me.
Our cameo, Donald
Trump. He's like, yep, you bet, but son.
All right, buddy.
That's literally all it is. He's just like, I'm going to be proud too, kid. You know.
You do it. All right.
Yeah. And then hangs up. That's it. There's your Donald Trump.
That's what we get.
Promo,
that's all we need.
Or cameo.
Now we get my favorite cameo though. The Whoopi.
The Whoopi cameo. Yep.
We get Buckwheat.
Look,
Porky.
Your mom's here.
No, it's Buckwheat says it to Porky. You gotta remember this. The only reason I know this is because he says, "Hey, look, it's my mom." Porky's the one that goes, "Whoopi."
Yeah, that's right.
Then we get to see Reba.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know who she is yet.
No, she's
just announcing
the race,
and she holds up the trophy. I love this. She goes, "It's a genuine, gold-plated, cubic zirconium encrusted trophy."
Fakest shit I've ever heard.
Right. And then she goes, "Oh, and $500."
Hey, $500. Hey,
all right. And you know, it's so funny because she's like, "This is weird." Then she's like, "Put cash."
Cash. Hell yeah. There we go. Now we're fucking talking.
Now the race literally starts. And when it starts, we start to see some angles of all the kids that are very weird now because we're in the cart and they want to make sure we can see their faces. And, you know, they're trying to do like head on because it's kind of weird, right?
Yeah.
I didn't realize, I didn't realize how bad it had been etched in my head either until I watched this again. That kid that plays Butch's teeth
are
so crazy.
Yeah,
teeth.
It's like
Like
almost
through the whole
pointing
movie,
straight
you
out.
can't even see. You don't even notice really
until he's got that helmet on.
He's got that helmet on, and they keep doing side shots, and you're just like,
just
man,
sticking.
And
so
as soon as
far
I saw
out.
it the first time, I was like, I remember this now.
Yeah,
I remember this warping the way I looked at that kid when I was a kid. Poor guy, and I feel bad for saying this, and I'm sure his teeth are fine today. Good Lord.
That's what he did with his check. He went and got him fixed.
Something.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Those are some crazy fucking teeth.
While all the beginning is going on, we see Buckwheat and Porky on their way to go sit down.
Go see and watch the race.
They turn. They don't even know what they've done.
They just smack a sign, one of the arrows.
Messes up the way the route they're supposed to go. The judge doesn't notice.
Nope. He's just standing there with his little clipboard, not paying attention.
And then we see the race go on, and we'll cut through a lot of it. The beginning part of the race especially is not very interesting.
It's just everyone's racing. It's all,
we see, lots of back and forths. There's not much going on.
But then we
hit the arrow.
Yeah, we get to the arrow.
3 of them, our 3 that we know.
Yeah.
All fly through. Then the judge is like, oh
shit.
And fixes it.
Fixes it and everybody else
No other cars go through it. Nope. That goes to let you know how much of a lead those 3 cars had. They had a pretty good
lead on them.
They were way ahead of everybody else.
They were.
They were so far ahead that whatever route this is.
The rest of those kids should have just quit.
The rest of those kids don't even get close to them when they get back to the real road.
They go down through a freaking parking lot, and they're like knocking people out of the way and shit.
So like, again, they were already ahead. So either this was even more of a shortcut, or those kids are just that bad. The other ones, you know what I mean? Like that's all we got going on here. While they go off the wrong way, we see each of them go their own way, the wrong way, right? Yeah. And Butch and Woim go straight through the shopping center, right? Up on the sidewalk, in between the doors and stuff. These people, they show them hitting people, and they show them flying so far.
They're doing backflips
6 feet in the air.
Right?
It's absurd. And did you notice the horrible prosthetics on the
old
last man?
On the old man that's clearly not an old man.
That was so bad, dude. Like,
you little rascals.
When they show, yes, and it's at them throwing in the name of the movie. So good.
Looked so bad.
But he looked so horrible.
He did not look like an old man.
As soon as I was watching, I had to stop it and like rewind like 3 times. I was like, Jesus, that's so bad. Like it literally looks like it's peeling off.
You can see the creases on his face.
How many times did they film him?
Been out here all day. It's hot. My makeup's falling off. I don't want to take this bump anymore.
They all get back on track. They're all back where they're supposed to be. Race us back to neck and neck and neck.
And neck.
Because it's the 3 of them.
Yep.
And we start to see cheaters. Cheaters everywhere. Waldo cheats.
He's got the fucking turbo and spikes and shit that come out.
Well, first it's just the turbo.
First it's the turbo, yeah.
He hits the turbo, and then we see Butch and Woim are like, oh, well, we've got a turbo. They hit theirs.
But theirs are in backwards.
They installed them the wrong way, and they shoot them backwards.
Up the road.
No, we don't even got to worry about them no more.
Alfalfa and Spanky have a special, too.
They do. But I'll point out they weren't going to use theirs until like they weren't trying to.
They cheated first.
They did it in response.
Yep. And then it's fair. They cheated first. Now
so then they push their button, and I love this because it's supposed to be, which is real science, right? Yeah. It's why Thor would be able to fly. Yeah. You throw the hammer, and the centrifugal force keeps
carrying you, right? So they do the spin, and then
the only problem with it is, if they would have if they would have done the effect better, it really would have worked, right? But instead of having because for it to really work, you'd have to spin and spin and spin and just go.
Yeah.
No, they spin and spin and spin and then stop. Hard stop. And then somehow have more motion because of the spinning. I don't know.
It's because of
it's
the rig.
Still great. I love it. It's beautiful.
But he catches right up
to Waldo. And we see.
And then
we see cheat number 2.
Spikes.
The really bad cheat.
Yeah.
They're going to hurt somebody.
Yeah, you could have fucking killed somebody.
Throws the spikes out, knocks the wheel.
Starts ramming into him and shit. And even Darla's like, what are you fucking doing?
And again, as Butch and Woim should be out of it at this point.
Yeah, but somehow they magically get right back up there.
Chuck the
flare.
These kids, dude, what is with these kids?
Where are they getting all this shit?
It's a not even just a flare though. It's like a mix between flare and like those industrial smoke bombs. You remember, like my dad got that one time. Those like crazy ones. It's literally like a mix of one of those.
Like a 2-foot flame and smoke all at the same time.
It's so crazy. But so then they got to deal with that, right?
So
luckily at this point, sorry.
Oh shit, we skipped some. Darla was pissed and said she wanted to get out.
And so he pulled over.
He's like, fine, get out, bitch.
And then we get back to the race. This will become important if you don't already know.
This will become important later.
But so then the race starts back up. While the smoke is going off, we see the racer.
Waldo's car, he pulls up and he starts spraying fire extinguisher out. Like, why in the fuck is he helping?
This was the most adult little person ever.
Right.
Did you see when that arm unstretched and shot? That was not a child.
That definitely wasn't that little Darla girl's arm. It was way too long.
Or Waldo's, you mean?
Yeah, Waldo's. Sorry. Oh no, I ruined the big twist from a movie from 30 years ago.
Once the flare is put out, though, it knocked the hanky back.
No, not the hanky.
And it hit Alfalfa's face, and he's like, I gotta put it back.
I gotta put it back. It's Darla's. It has special power.
Yeah, exactly. Like Spanky's like, no, you don't. He's like, yes, I do.
You're gonna fall, you idiot.
He climbs to the front, puts it on right as they're crossing the finish line.
It's a photo finish. Fucking got Whoopi up there being like, he won by a hair.
We see Alfalfa literally.
The sprout.
It's literally his hair. It's not even. They're not saying that to be funny.
No,
it's literally a hair.
The alfalfa sprout is pointed just off the hood of the car, and that's how they win.
Winning by a hair. The race stops, and we hear, gentlemen, let's give Alfalfa a big spolioli.
Spolioli! Spolioli!
Again, I love these things.
Bazooka was my favorite one.
I love all of them. They're so good. Then we see Alfalfa punches Butch into the pig pen.
Yeah, because they come up and they're just like, all that work and we stole your thing for nothing. We're really going to kick your ass now.
Yeah, Alfalfa's like, I don't think so.
So done with this shit. Pop! Right through into the pig shit, and he looks at the other one.
And then Woim is just like,
but allow me!
And jumps in.
Dives headfirst into the pig shit. It's all right.
And then we see they're walking up, and I love the speech. I love the words that are coming out of Spanky's mouth as they're walking up to what they think is Waldo.
Yep.
And literally he's like, look, I wanted to tell you we've got this thing. It's made for us machismo types. You know, I think you'd like to be part of it. It's this group with this club.
Spank, buddy.
What?
Waldo's over there.
And you see him, he's like doing the like Scooby-Doo style cussing at him like
from the window of his limo. You never heard the last from me.
Right? Like so funny, and he's like,
then who the fuck is this?
It was Darla all along.
Spanky faints. And then you can do the fan. They're just like, oh, Spanky.
And as if that wasn't enough for him, we immediately cut from him. He wakes up and they're getting their money.
They're getting their money and the trophy, and Reba's giving him the stuff.
He's all quiet. She's making jokes, and he's just so quiet. He won't laugh or none of it. And she finally is like, what's his deal?
Alfalfa's like, he's disappointed. He was hoping the AJ Ferguson would be handing out the trophy. And she's just like, well, it's your lucky day, because that's exactly who the fuck I am. Takes off her...
You're the best racer there is.
She had a coat on top of her coat.
It was supposed to be a racing coat over top of racing overalls.
Oh, okay.
Which is why they looked the same. Okay, it looked but like they were different. Yeah.
I was like, she has like 3 coats on.
So that's why it had the collar. It's because that was supposed to be her racing overalls.
Or like flame retardant racing jumpsuit thing.
That's what that was.
Okay, clarified.
But yeah, so now we see Spanky just has to come to terms with girls aren't that bad.
Yeah, it's not. And they rebuild the clubhouse.
They decide
almost exactly the way it was.
Actually, looks a little bit nicer.
A little bit. Just there's
the
not
walls
quite so many holes in the wall.
Yeah, exactly. They decide to let the girls join.
They upgrade the sign even. It's like women allowed now.
Yep.
Everybody is in there macking.
And we see, now is when we see Raven. The monkey's got a friend.
Fucking STYMIE in there working his magic on Raven. He's like, how you doing, girl? What's up?
Even the monkey.
The monkey has a girlfriend. Has one. They're sticking crayons up their nose because that's how they roll.
They're having the meeting. And then we hear say and this is the last joke. This is so stupid, but I love that it's here.
Yeah, I liked this too.
He goes, I think has apparently learned
a new word, guys.
I actually have a quite extensive vocabulary
and an amazing command of syntax and all this other shit. It's like I just choose not to employ them.
And then that's it, though. Everything wraps up. All we get to end it with are bloopers from the movie. No after credits.
I love the bloopers of the girl who plays Darla.
Yeah.
They're all constantly just like stop looking at the camera. Please stop looking at the camera.
Don't look at the camera. And like even like the one that she did almost perfectly at the very last second you see her.
Yeah, just it flicks right over there on her. That was the best one.
All right, that's that's all we've got to say about the movie.
Yeah.
But as you guys know, if you're a longtime listener, certainly at least if you've been here since Christmas.
Yeah, since Christmas.
Anytime we decide to do a movie that's child friendly,
yeah.
Our youngest, or we assume our youngest fan, my son decides that he has to watch and he wants to put his 2 cents in. So naturally, I can't tell him no. So we're gonna hear a couple of things. Yeah, we'll hear a couple of things from him. So, bud, what did you think about the movie?
This pretty good.
What was your favorite part?
The pickle song. I have 2 pickles. I have 2 pickles today.
Good job.
Hey.
What other part did you like?
The boy fairy actually takes off his clothes. Him in the closet place and get all his stuff off and him got his underwear
That's
on.
right. What are you going to tell everybody? What should they do?
Subscribe and punch the bell.
All right. Well, now that we've got that taken care of and out of the way, we are definitely finished with the movie.
Yep.
What do you think about the beer?
It is the easiest thing to drink I think I've come across yet. And I want to drink all of it.
So good.
Right?
Again, we always say this whenever it's something that's kind of citrusy, right?
Yeah.
Like whether it be an IPA or like this white ale here. Something about that citrusy flavor.
It's like a thirst quencher.
It would, on a spring day.
Yeah, you're out there, you're cooking.
And we're
out, you're sitting on
finally
a
almost
boat.
there. Again, we're in Kentucky, so we're on like second spring of 3, right?
Yeah.
We've had a couple
It goes
warm-ups
back and forth.
We're almost there.
We're almost there. This should be the last one. It's supposed to get cold again, and then
Finally warm.
It,
and so
right?
then it's finally going to be time, dude.
It's gonna be time for these, and we break out the grill.
It's going to be a good time.
Fuck yeah, dude. But yeah, Little Rascals.
Little Rascal.
Little Rascal. Sorry, no S. Little Rascal from Avery Brewing Company. Go give it a shot.
Definitely can recommend.
Very good. Very high recommend.
On that note, though, what about next week, man?
Next week, we are doing West 6th Brewery's Snake Eyes.
Snake Eyes.
That's your clue right there, guys. Snake Eyes. You guys want to play the game? You got to put a comment. You got to play.
Figure it out. Leave us a...
That started so good.
It's okay. We can make it work. Leave a guess. Figure it out, guys.
Figure it out. You know how to play.
Well, I think we're done, man.
All right, cool. Go grab Jack. Let's go build a go-kart.
I got a pickle.